Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Our next speaker is an architect from the United Kingdom with over 30 years of experience in construction industry, where he started a smaller architectural practice in the United Kingdom. He then moved to Atkins, where he led architectural teams in Northern England. He joined Hopkins Architects in Dubai in 2008, working on key projects like One Central and Expo 2020 thematic district. He left Hopkins in 2024 to become the Vice President of Master Planning and Design for Expo's City. Global Filipino architects, let us welcome architect 𝗬𝗲𝗀.
Hello, is it on? Can you hear me? Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and the UAP for inviting me here today. It's a great pleasure to be here, and there are some familiar faces in the audience, which it's nice to see. Yeah, I was happy when that picture was taken, by the way. So again, thank you, everyone, and congratulations to the UAP. I understand you're up to sort of 18,000 online listeners, which is a big hit, which is good. Yeah, so I started off in the UK. I went to the Hull School of Architecture and did my degree and my diploma, and worked for local small practices. And in those days, computers weren't around. So I started on a drawing board, if anyone remembers what they are. And then it sort of developed, so technology has now taken a big hit. BIM wasn't even on the radar in those days. So really what I'm going to do here today is just to run through the master plan for Expo City a little bit, just to give you an idea of what we're doing. So we have started the master plan now in real terms. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed graciously approved the master plan in September for us, and my understanding is it was very well received. He was very happy with it. We have appointed a design company, UN Studio, based out of Amsterdam, but it truly is a global team. We've got Borough Happold and people like that working with us on the master plan. This is which I'm sure Engineer Ahmed from 𝗬𝗲𝗰 is familiar with. This is what's been submitted recently, and it's under approval at the moment with various comments coming back. So this is just basically, you've got DEC, which is also a huge part of what Expo City is going to be about. They're doing their own development, and this is now under construction now. And this is the master plan as we see it today. It also includes this little area, which I'll talk about a little bit here. So in total, we've got something like 3.5 million square meters of space to develop. That includes some of the existing assets that are already within the plan. So where you see this iconic building we're in today, and all the others, and some around the Al Wasl Dome, all of that's still part of this. But what we're trying to do is that we've moved on from the Expo event and COP28, which was very successful as well, as we all know. So we need to try and make this a city that is the next thing for Dubai, for people to live, work, and be around and visit still. So we're in a very unique position with Expo City, because developers around Dubai and the UAE, they normally just have the piece of land to do. We've already got a city that's already here. So we need to enhance on that and build on that, which is what we're trying to do. So the offerings that we've got in the master plan are obviously, as you would expect in a city, but it is truly a city. And we want to try and make it accessible for everybody, and give everybody an opportunity to live, work, play, and visit, you know? So there's a rundown there of numbers. I mean, we as architects like colours and shapes and things. Numbers are just there. So, but the important thing is there's a huge amount of space for us to develop. And when you see the scale of the city, the scale of the buildings, that's something that we should appreciate and take on board. So basically what the master plan that you in studio have worked with us on is something that we're splitting it into you know, different zones. So it's this stripe effect. So you've got sports, you've got schools, you've got living, you've got community, you've got all of those things that make up the true fabric of a city. So you're working, you're living, you're socializing. Part of the issue that we have, though, is we can only develop to a certain height because of the adjacency of the airport. So that's a big crucial constraint that we have in how and where we can develop and build buildings in the city. So this is what we've got in terms of, you know, so at the moment, and this has already started, in terms of building, the city has already started to build. We've got projects here, which is mangroves, 𝗬𝗏, and the other one, Sky Residences, where they're already on site. We've got them coming out of the ground now, so these are residential offerings. We've also got this here, which is Expo Valley, which are really nice, luxurious villas and townhouses. There's 500 odd of units of that. This bit at the end here, which is Expo Valley Phase 2, that's going to come online soon. We're just appointing consultants, expressions of interest for that. Within that, one of the unique bits of this development is why it's called Expo Valley. We've actually formed the hills. So these are all hills, and it comes around, and the valley is being created here. And it comes and links through into the city. We've also got a nature reserve with a lake and natural planting. There's going to be antelopes and all that kind of stuff in here. So it becomes a place to be, to work, to walk, and live. We've obviously, this is all interspersed with various community facilities as well. And then the link into the new master plan, which we've got here. So we've also got some more residential on this side, which is also going to be coming online. We're in the process at the moment of appointing various consultants to help us with the design, the delivery of the design on this. Obviously, the focal point, which we're always aware of and take heed to, is obviously 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝐿 Dome. But that was for event, and it's still going to be there. That was for Expo 2020. We've got to try and make this city work alongside that. So you've got this language going on, you've got 𝗏𝗏 here. These buildings, I'll come talk to these about, because these are precious to me because I was involved in that before, but I'll come to that in a minute. But so we've got to try and make the city work alongside these existing assets that are iconic in their own right. So having iconic buildings is great. As one-off buildings, they're fantastic. But there are other things, that make the architecture even as important. And it's the spaces between the buildings. Let's go back. So, you know, what we've tried to do, so you've got these iconic buildings here, and we've got to try and link the spaces to all of these, and so the use of squares and plazas and shaded areas to bring you through and see these and experience these through the city. So whichever way you walk, you've got these things and these events happening all the way through. So the spaces that you walk through in between to get to those spaces are equally important. So we've, as part of the master plan, we've appointed 𝗂𝗏, which are a landscape architects from Copenhagen, again, global, and they've really thought long and hard about how to deal with those spaces, which we feel is important and I'll come to it. These will give you a prime example of what I'm talking about when I come to that shortly. So again, these are just some of the key sort of, what we're trying to do is give you some art, some culture, some local amenities. Obviously, we need to do infrastructure, so we've got new substations to do. So all of that is fed into making the plan successful. Again, the idea of this is about population density, so these are obviously the more populated areas. And the flight path that comes sort of here allows us only to, you'll see on the peripheries, there's not much in terms of building height on these bits. It's all concentrated in this area where we're away from the flight path. But that's been a huge constraint that we've had to manage and with. So it gives you an idea of the scale in terms of its cross-section. You've got the 𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀 dome here, so the buildings we're talking about are very similar. Nothing's really going higher than that. There's a building at this end and a building at the other end that are around about the same height as the dome. But it gives you an idea of applying the human scale to it all. So when you see it, it's entirely like that, entirety like this, you've got, you know, it's quite nice as a human scale. You've got nothing that is jarring, nothing that is too high or too obtrusive, if you like, in terms of its scale and massing. So these are just some images on the master plan. So you get the idea of, you know, there's in terms of scale, you can see the 𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀 dome here. So you can see immediately how big this thing is. These are the buildings that, the 3 units that are, 2 are on site at the moment. This third one is going to be released shortly. You've got the Expo Hills, as we're going to call it, is over here, which is, again, some residential offering. Here you've got Expo Market, which is the idea of bringing people in and having markets and activity in here, some outdoor performance as well. Here you've got a mixed use of hotels, you've got offices, you've got, again, the architecture here is not, this is not the definitive. What we're doing as part of the master plan is to set up some design guidelines. So it's all not going to look like this. Obviously, we need to give architects and designers some free rein within a set of parameters that we're building up now. So this is just about massing and just about how it could look and feel. You've got school over here. You've got obviously DEC at the background there, which is massive. They're going to triple the size of what they've already got. So it's going to be a true city. Here we've got the other view from the other side. So you've got metro station here and DEC. The idea is to walk through. This becomes a gateway through to 𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, dome. So this will be mixed use. This is what we've done as a JV recently with Aldar. So Aldar are going to be developing this. So the idea is that we will develop some plots ourselves. We'll give plots to developers and so on. There's been a huge interest since it was launched in September. So we've got lots of potential partners coming in and assisting with us. Again, just another view. So you've got the Foster building, which is here, and then we're obviously over here in town, which is this the Grimshaw building. And these bits here, going back to what I was saying about transition through spaces. When we were at Hopkins, and Hopkins did these, I know it's Dennis is here as well, so he's been working on this. And this, because we're going about iconic buildings, and they're great, but what knits that together with that? You've got to walk through somewhere, and you've got to have activity, and you've got to, the idea about these were based upon a souk arrangement where you could sit, you could rest, you could just go away from the busyness of all the things going on around it, and this can be a relaxation place. It's got nice shade, natural shade. Expo Market again, and just shows you the scale of it. It's huge. Nighttime shot. As part of Expo Valley, I don't know what's going on with the formatting here, but never mind. In Expo Valley, this is totally naturally created with us. So all of these hills have been formed, and we're going to have gazelles and all that kind of stuff running through. So we've the landscape architects, and we've consulted with animal. I don't know what they're called, but people who deal with animals to help us with that. So it becomes natural. And as part of all of this, we've got, again, the villas, which are interspersed all the way around here. Again, we've got a lake, and it's this idea of nature and naturalness, and it becoming something that is different to what you would normally get in in any residential developments where you'd get a swimming pool, you'll get all of that. This is giving you something different. It's more activity, different types of activity that you wouldn't get under the norm. And again, this is just some elements of what it could be like in terms of some of the areas we're talking about. Again, it's about people and spaces and being shaded and being protected. So you've got that idea of intimacy. You know, we've got to get into the buildings, into the sites. And again, this is Expo business, so you've got some business areas, offices. Again, it's quite active. Planting and landscaping is crucial to us. Again, just an idea of what the massing could be and the spaces in between buildings and you know, making green streets. And you've got the iconic building, the iconic buildings as part of all of that landscape and all of this. This is obviously one of the shade structures that was developed from when we did it with Hopkins. So that key iconic structure is still going to be fed into what we do afterwards. So a view back over the city, nice hotel suite. And I couldn't sort of go away from here today without, because I was involved. This is what I was involved in. I came here with Hopkins to this project in 2017, and I haven't gone away yet. And I was working with Ahmed Al-Khatib back in the days of Trade Centre and One Central, and he brought me here, and I now work for him directly. So I've really, I am a poacher turned gamekeeper. So I now represent Expo City. So, but this is Opportunity District, and it's just what people don't see in Expo, I don't think, is when they don't visit at night. And when you visit this place at night, it's really, really special. The lighting, the landscaping lit up and everything else, it really does create, and these are just some of the spaces we're talking about. You know, just the throw of light. These things can flash on and off, which I don't personally like, but you know, it's there as a feature. But the spaces are really nice. These are very simple structures. The buildings are very, very simple. But the street, it's all about the street and the transition through spaces in landscape. We thought long and hard about how to deal with the landscape, making that interest occur. Again, we've got different facade treatments, but these are just precast facades with glass in them. They're very simple. And it takes a lot of skill in getting simple things to work properly when you've got lots of them happening. So the order and the arrangement is pretty crucial. Yeah, it was very successful. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears when we were doing it on site, Dennis, if you remember. But yeah, it was worth it. It was hard work, but it was fun. And these are very simple aluminium frames and macrame screens, and it throws light like this. This is at night, and this is just a concrete staircase. It's nothing special. It's very simple. The materials are very simple. But what you can achieve just by looking at how simplicity could be enhanced gives you that kind of feeling. It's quite special. And these are some of the projects that we're doing now. These are the ones that are starting on site. So we've got some residential offerings. Again, your typical kind of, you know, F&B, commercial stuff down on the ground level, and apartments, 1-bed, 2-bed, 3-bed apartments. And again, the spaces in between these buildings are equally important. It's what allows people to live successfully. Again, this is on site already, mangroves. So these were designed by DPA out of Singapore. Again, another global sort of activity going on with different consultants. This one here is the new one coming out soon, which is 𝗬𝗲𝗀𝗃𝗃. We're working with Kling locally on this one. Thank you. That's it. I'm sure there's lots of things I've forgotten to say, but if you want to ask me any questions, then please do. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Architect 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍, a true gamekeeper. Does anyone have questions? Questions? Anyway, you can contact him. If you have later, you can contact him. Yeah, very well. So maybe we request again our chapter Vice President for Operations, Architect Patrick Soriano, and our chapter President, Architect 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍, to join us here to present this flag of appreciation to Architect 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍.
This plaque of appreciation is presented to Architect 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 of Expo City Dubai in grateful recognition for being the resource speaker in the UAP 124 Dubai's Year-End Conference 2024. Given this Sunday, 8th of December 2024 at Terra Pavilion, Expo City, Dubai, UAE. Thank you so much.
From heritage to modern days, our craft deserves this month of praise.